Welcome back, everybody. Today we're here to talk about The Walking Dead Season 9, Episode 15, The Calm Before. And wow, that was an intense episode. Before I get into the whole episode, this will be my review of it, so obviously I'm going to get deep into it. I'm going to be talking spoilers, so if you haven't seen the episode, go watch it and then come back to this video. But yeah, we're going to get into it. So, like I said, spoiler warning, but man, that was an intense episode. Easily the most intense episode of the season. Definitely one of the most intense episodes ever. And this season, I mean, we only got one more episode left, but I'm pretty confident in saying this is definitely one of the best seasons we've had. It's insane how much, the tone changed throughout the episode. Like early on in the episode, I was watching and I was like all smiles, enjoying what I was seeing, all the characters having a good time. And then as the episode went on and on, I was at the edge of my seat. I'm not even joking, exaggerating or anything. I literally got up towards the end, especially when Alpha took Daryl to that big ass herd of walkers, which I love how they brought that moment from the comics to life. That was amazing. Yeah, from then and moving forward, I was like super nervous. But we're going to talk all about that chaos in just a minute. But let's take it back, to the beginning of the episode, because there are a couple things that I want to touch on in the beginning of the episode. One main thing in particular, which I liked how, everybody put their differences aside now, finally. I mean, like I said, the beginning was super heartwarming and everybody was having a good time. And I liked that whole moment when they were in the theater and they were signing that charter that they had. One specific thing I love is when Michonne brought up the fact that everybody has had a past that they don't like, and they've all been in the same situation as Lydia, being part of a group that you aren't that comfortable with. And I loved how she brought up Tara and how she was part of the governor, because I was like, finally somebody brings that up. Like, I felt like Tara totally forgot that she was part of the governor. I know she mentioned it once. I forgot when it was, but I remember I think it was last season, but I mean, like, I don't get why Tara was giving Lydia such a hard time. I mean, I guess I get it because now she's a leader. It's a totally different mindset, but I was so happy Michonne finally brought that up. So yeah, super cool that everybody now is on the same page. No more drama between the communities. We can all move forward and fight the Whisperers, which is probably the best thing that came out of this episode. I mean, best thing for the characters, that is. But let's talk about the fair, because I thought the fair was really well done. I thought they did a great job actually like directing the fair. Like, I liked how they had certain characters walking around and we had the conversations. In the background, we saw all the activities. Like, they did a great job bringing it to life. Like, it only took like 3 or 4 minutes of screen time, but we saw everything that we needed to, and it was just really well done. Alpha walking around the fair, oh my goodness. I think The Walking Dead is trying to give me a heart attack. I was so anxious watching that, and they nailed that also. I actually think they did a better job on the TV show with bringing Alpha to the fair than the comics. Like, it was more realistic in the TV show than, what they did in the comics. Like, when she was walking around and they were, focusing on certain characters and she was, like, eavesdropping on certain characters, I was, like, pointing out, like, okay, he's dead, she's dead, he's dead. I was, like, super nervous, but man, King Ezekiel, he survived. I was so shocked that he survived. I mean, they were fake setting up his death. Even back in the trailer for this episode, so much focus and attention on him. Like, that was probably the most shocking thing. Even after all the people who died, I was shocked that King Ezekiel survived. I mean, the setup for his death was crazy. Even when Alpha and him had a full-on conversation and they hooked arms, and he was literally about to take her to the clothes booth or whatever. I was like, oh my goodness, King Ezekiel's a goner. But this makes me happy because it just goes to show that The Walking Dead is not predictable anymore. I mean, yeah, it's still predictable here and there, but I'm glad they note. I'm really glad they did differ from the comics this way, because I was even Rosita too, she survived. I mean, I was shocked that Rosita and King Ezekiel survived. I thought they were both goners, especially since Rosita was pregnant, but she survived, and I was like, okay. I mean, The Walking Dead is not trying to be predictable anymore. I can respect that. Eugene and the radio, that is obviously very important, because in a big episode like this, they had some attention on that. And I made a video talking about Rick and, the Rick theory. And I feel like there's going to be a connection with Eugene and the radio, with somehow between either Rick or the Commonwealth or something. But they're definitely setting that up. Alpha showing Daryl the Whisper Herd. I love how they also brought that to life from the comics. It was Rick in the comics, and it was so cool how they did that. I mean, I love that scene so much, but I hate to say it. Somebody has to say it. I hate to be that guy, but there was something wrong with the CGI in that scene. There was definitely something up with the CGI in that scene, because that scene just looked super weird compared to other scenes. The color grading, just everything about it was a little bit weird. And when it becomes noticeable like that, that's how it's not a good job on it. But that's really my only issue with the episode, and if that's my only issue with an episode, I'm okay with it. But let's go ahead and talk about the Pyke victims now. So we got Ozzy, DJ, Ozzy's second in command dude, Frankie, Tammy Rose, Addie, Rodney, Tara, Enid, and Henry. Wow. I mean, I read this thing. Apparently, it's only one person from the comics that's similar to the TV show. So the TV show definitely went a totally different direction, which I'm okay with, and I respect that. And I see some people already saying that this, the Pyke victim list is like underwhelming. But you know what? It's okay that King Ezekiel or Rosita didn't die. I'm okay with that, and I'm also okay that they did a different way than the comics. I think that makes sense, and it's better that way. But they nailed that end sequence when they were approaching the Pykes, and we saw like the lineup of the heads, and then also all the people at the fair were looking for the other person who was gone, and they showed the head. Like that was done perfectly, and I was just so because that definitely added to the that added to the tension of the scene, because I was like, who are we gonna see next? Who are we gonna see next? Who's gonna ask for who? So I love how they added that. I'm still really shocked that we lost Tara, Enid, and Henry. Like, those three characters were really surprising to lose. I mean, Tara's been there since season 4, so whenever you lose a character that's been on the show for a while, it always feels a little bit weird. Enid, I didn't expect that one, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, some people were saying that the actress moved or something, but I don't really follow that. I try to stay away from, like, spoilers, so I didn't really know that. And yeah, that one did shock me. I really thought it was gonna be Alden who went. And then Henry, that was, yeah, I mean, oh my goodness, they switched out King Ezekiel with Henry. I was super shocked with that, even though, again, Henry was like a big spoiler thing that came out like months ago for some reason. But I tried so hard to avoid spoilers. I stayed off the internet for like all day today, pretty much all of yesterday. So yeah, I was genuinely shocked with a lot of these. The interesting thing is that I'm more surprised about characters who survived than characters who went. Like, I'm very surprised that nobody in Magnus group, died. Like, I thought at least 1 or 2 people in Magnus group would die, and I guess they didn't. They really faked us out, which I can only respect. All throughout the episode, we had so many character moments that I thought, like, okay, this character's gonna go, this character's gonna go, and basically some of those characters that they had deep moments with, none of them even went, which is just super shocking. And like I said, I like how the show did it differently. But man, that end sequence when Sadiq was telling the story of what happened and we actually saw it, I get chills talking about it. Like, hands down, one of my favorite scenes of the season, hands down one of my favorite scenes of the entire series. That was an amazing sequence, and just so heartbreaking seeing everybody tied up like that. Imagine how scary that is. Like, they're just all tied up there in that barn, and like just seeing Ozzy come from the back and they start like beating some whispers and everybody got up and fight. There's a fan, like, oh my goodness, that was an amazing scene, and I love how they added that. Like, if I could describe that whole sequence at the end in 2 words, I would say heartbreaking and beautiful, because just seeing everybody fight together as a family, and we all know what happened to those characters. They all died, and just their final stand, that was just incredible. But I must talk about Alpha. As much as I don't like you, Alpha, you are a great character and a great villain. And that whole thing with Lydia was super emotional, and then on top of all that turmoil, she was standing there in the woods and she killed that Whisper, which, like, why? Wait, I know why. Because she's evil. No, but seriously, I did like that kill because I thought it was necessary, because it would show how she copes with her emotions and, her anger. And I thought it made sense to kill that Whisper, but I just didn't expect it still. But thinking about it in the long run, I was like, okay, that makes sense why she would want to kill that Whisper. And then in the grand finale of the episode, we finally got some snow. So I can't wait for next week to see the full snow episode. But let me know in the comments down below all your thoughts and opinions about the episode. All your thoughts and opinions about the Pykes and all that. Let me know what are you guys thinking about. What do you feel? Were you shocked? Were you surprised? Let me know in the comments down below. I am gonna wrap it up there for this review. Overall, like I said, I really enjoyed this episode. It was pretty much everything I wanted out of an episode like this, on an emotional, on an action level, everything like that. I thought it was really well done. But I am gonna wrap it up there. I have my breakdown for the episode 16 trailer coming up tomorrow morning, so stay tuned for that, plus a ton of other videos, because it's gonna be a big episode and we got a lot of things to cover. So be sure to hit the subscribe button to stay up to date with anything new that comes out in the world of The Walking Dead. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys later.